Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. This is day 22 of Scraptember, and our prompt today was to use pattern paper as our background. So for me, all my paper this month is pattern paper, so I pretty much could make whatever I want for this layout. But I wanted to take the challenge and at least make it challenging, so I wanted to use one of the more busier papers from this collection. Usually I like to use more toned down backgrounds, that way my layers can really stand out and all of that. So I tried to use a paper that I was kind of worried about using as a background. So I'm going for this moth paper. I think it's super cute. I love this paper. I just think in big swaths it could be kind of busy. So I'm compromising with that by using 3 photos that kind of span the entire width, and then some big scraps to have some fun layers in there. The moth paper is not 12 inches long because I've already used a scrap of that for another page this month. So it kind of works out that I have these photos running edge to edge because I'll be able to cheat a little bit to make this moth paper my 12 inches. But before I really commit, I'm trying to figure out which scraps I want to use and kind of how I want them layered. I wanted this to be a more neutral layout. I was trying to pull scraps that complemented the moths on the background, so lots of tans and browns. There's some pinks in there, and that was the goal. So I also really like the moth paper for this one because I'm documenting Bug Day, which is when Franklin gets bugs. So Franklin is my bearded dragon, if you don't know, and he gets bugs twice a week. He gets salads every day, but twice a week he gets bugs. And my nephew Bennett and Avery, but this page is documenting just Bennett visiting. Bennett loves to come over and feed the bugs to Franklin. So this is documenting the very first time he got to come over and feed him, and he had a lot of fun. He was very brave. He was kind of nervous to hold him, so I was very proud of him that he wanted to hold him in that first picture. I think it's so cute. He was a little nervous, I think, because Franklin, as much of a potato as he looks spiky. Like, they can look intimidating even though they're like the derpiest animals in the world. So I was proud of him for holding him and feeding him and all that kind of stuff. So I thought this is a fun page to do that with and to make sure I used bug stuff. So I have the moths in the background. I'm using these 2 kind of brownish scraps. And then I definitely want to try to use some of these chipboard bugs that my mom gave me. I already got a moth used up this month. I don't think you've seen it yet, but I did use that moth that I attempted to get on the first page. But with this one, I wanted to try to at least get 2 of them. And I thought about using the other moth since I have the moth background, but I decided to use something that looked more beetle-like. So I'm gonna end up using, I don't know if they're meant to be fireflies. I'm gonna pretend they're beetles because Franklin's one of his favorite bugs are dubias. So that's what the ones out of the ones I had, I felt like those looked the closest. They cannot have fireflies. Fireflies are toxic, so I mean, it's okay if I have them on this page, but that's my goal on this one. So I'm kind of composing these scraps. I did get another cut apart on here, which I was really happy about. That breaks up all these browns with that kind of soft pink, which I really like, but it's still in that neutral color palette. So I really like how that's what's going on there. And then I do want to pull that darker brown scrap towards the bottom so it looks like a big layer. So I'm just trying to sort the scraps out right now. And I just want to make sure that the papers I'm using and the colors are going to be balanced. So I'm just trying to figure that out. I really like that I have this journaling spot because I definitely want to journal a little bit about Bennett feeding him on Bug Day, but I want to make sure if that's going to be a cluster, I kind of have something on the opposite side of the pictures to kind of frame the layout with clusters. So I have a scrap of that other brown piece I'm thinking will be a base of a cluster on the bottom. And then I really, really wanted to use these kind of brassy bronze arrows. My mom gave those to me a while ago, in a little scrapbook present for, it was either birthday or Christmas, and I've been like hoarding them for a really cool collection to use them on. And I think with the neutral tones in this collection, the gold metallic that's in that one scrap, I think they'll work really well on this layout. So I'm planning on there being 2 arrows at the top and 1 in the bottom, so there's this diagonal kind of embellishment that also frames the page. So I'm excited about those. I was waiting on a page to get those used up, so I'm really happy I got some on this one. But you'll see me kind of take them off, put them back on. I had commitment issues with the embellishment on this layout. But this is one thing I was really glad I added. I didn't want to really cut into a whole nother 12 by 12, but I did want another layer. So one of the papers this month is a cut apart of border strips. So I did snitch a little border strip that had a lacy scallopy detail on it that I'm just fussy cutting right now to go underneath the photos. And I think that's like the perfect little touch. It helps balance the pink. It brings kind of a different, it was looking very boxy. So I like the scallopy detail that is on this border strip. And I'm going to keep going with that. I want to kind of break up all of the harsh angles that my layout currently has. So I love this border strip with the scallop that kind of opens me up to adding a doily behind the journaling spot on top. I think that complements this little scallopy border really nice. And then I forget what I do right after that part, but I have the little lightning bug beetle chipboard pieces in their perspective areas. I actually really like how they look raw on this layout. I might just be a little bit scared to try to paint them again after what happened with the first moth, but I genuinely like the way they look raw on this one, so I'm just going to embrace them as they are and not alter the chipboard. I like that brown. I think it looks really cool, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. But I love the one up by the journaling piece, and then I'm hoping I can get the second one down there by that other cluster scrap that I'm trying to build. And I'm just trying to make it all look like it makes sense. I love the placement of this little cluster. I love this little lightning bug. I just want a couple more layers so that it mimics that top cluster a little bit. So there's a little scrap of that journaling piece with that same like dusty rose color that is going to be the base of the little lightning bug down there, but I'll end up adding an extra layer to both of these clusters towards the end because I feel like there's just not enough. But I like where we are right now. I love these arrows. I think I'm actually committing with the arrows and gluing them down. I'm just using my Nuvo glue for that. I've never used Nuvo glue for metallic stuff like this, but everyone says Nuvo is great, and I've never had an issue with it. I just usually use my Tombow Mono Multi for stuff like this, but I'm out of it currently, so we'll see how the Nuvo does, but I think it'll be fine. As I'm voiceovering them, they are stuck down. I can't get them up, so I think we're good. And then I wanted to title this Bug Day. I wanted to pull in some white because I have all these brown layers. I wanted to pull in some white from the background. And I want to just call this Bug Day. And I really like how this looks with the G in line with the rest of the letters. But you'll see once I get to the Y in day, it goes right over Bennett's face in that picture, and I didn't want his face covered up even though it's only part of his face, so I end up pushing the Y up some, and then I couldn't have the G down and then the Y up, so I also put the G up, so at least they're uniform. But the title does look a little funny, but I think it's kind of whimsical and cute. I mean, it's a layout of Bennett, and I think those are kind of fun, having fonts like this where they're not all lined up. So I'm committing, and I'm sticking with that. I'd rather the title look like this than that Y go across his face, so that's what I decided to do. And then there were some asterisks on that thicker sheet as well, so I'm actually going to add 2 asterisks into both clusters, so that white foam is also in other areas of the page, which I really like. So the 2 going up there by the journaling spot, 2 down there in the bottom corner. And then I think this is where I revisit wanting to add another layer. Again, I was trying to be stingy because I don't want to cut into another 12 by 12 yet. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down the chipboard bugs. I'm committing to those. And then I'm actually going to go through some of my scraps from my other Die Cuts with a View collection that I showed you guys in the beginning of the month. I think it's the Peachy Evergreen collection. I have a bunch of scraps from that. I was hoping to try to sneak on these layouts this month since the collections coordinate pretty well. And there is a pink striped scrap that I find that I'll pull in. But one of the things I definitely wanted to do was this doily. I like it added more white. It kind of added a different texture, but I like that lacy scallop look, how it complements the border strip from earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and get that stuck down. And then I think I go through my scraps. I'm trying to remember what order I did everything in. These little tabs I've been trying to use. I think this is only the second layout you guys have seen this month, but I've actually already made 6 layouts this month. And this one I think is layout 5, and I've been trying to get these tabs on every single page, but the blue and the pink are just different shades than the ones in the collection. So I don't know. I was hoping I could add some of those in, but I end up finding this scrap in my other collection that I wanted to use this month. So that's what I end up using. I'm going to trim it in half and make them both banners, and I'm going to have one of those banners in each cluster. And I think that also helps frame everything. And I like the extra pink to break up some of this brown. So I'm going to get that stuck down. And then I think the only thing I really have left is the journaling. So it just says Mom brought Bennett over for Bug Day and he had a lot of fun feeding Franklin. And that's pretty much it. I love these pictures. They're so cute. Bennett and Avery have come over now several times to feed Franklin. They actually wanted to come over today, but I didn't have any bugs for them. So maybe another time. But I'm going to get the journaling down, and then the close-ups are here. Make sure you guys follow along with Scraptember this month. The hashtag is Scraptember 2023. There should be a playlist where everyone's loading their videos if you want to watch and follow along. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.